Welcome to the Dynasty Daddy YouTube channel. Today we're going to take a look at the 2025 rookie draft class. The combine just happened, it just wrapped up, so everyone is diving into all the numbers, and it's an excellent time for players to showcase their skills or at least run around in underwear. So some players did, some did not. Our definition of sleepers in this video will be players outside of the first two rounds. Obviously, if I say Ashton Jeanty is an amazing player, you're going to click off the video. So we're only going to be looking at players that are going to go in the third or fourth round of rookie drafts currently. Obviously, we still have some time that could change, but that's kind of our focus for today. So which sleepers will pass the eye test? Let's take a look at that. If you like what you see, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell or whatever. It helps out the channel a lot. So let's jump into it. First up, the winner of the combine, if there is such thing, Bhayshul Tuten. Currently, Tuten is a mid to late fourth round pick on Keep Trade Cut and ADP Daddy. I do expect that to go up just because he dominated the combine. But if we look at his college stats, he also put up incredible numbers. North Carolina A&T, obviously not the steepest competition, but then he transferred to Virginia Tech. In the ACC, an incredible player, someone that a fourth round pick is guaranteed to be an easy bet, because what are you getting in the fourth round? But if we take a look at his combine metrics as well, I mean, he put up incredible numbers. Obviously, the biggest concern right off the gate is height, weight, not amazing. But, you know, again, like, this is the modern NFL. We've seen A-Chain. We've seen players that are smaller dominate. Amazing vertical broad jump, amazing 40-yard dash. I believe that was the best one. And you can just see down the board. Amazing speed score to explosive grade. His shuttle wasn't amazing, but that's all right. For a fourth round pick, with his production, with the testing at the combine, this is one of the best bets I think there is, and I expect him to probably end up in the third round, to be honest, especially given his landing spot. I've seen some mocks even have him in the third round of the real NFL draft, which would certainly shoot his draft stock up. But for right now, he meets the criteria as sleeper. He's someone that a lot of people are now high on, and I am high on him as well. If we look at kind of comps, I see him as like kind of a Keaton Mitchell, maybe Chase Brown, less of a workhorse type, but more speed, home run hitting type of guy, change of pace guy that you kind of put with one of those bruisers. I'm a big fan of him, and he's someone that I hope people aren't watching this video that are in my leagues so I can scoop him up late. But at this point, I think the secret's out after that 40-yard dash. People are going to be really in on him. Next up, another 40-yard dash darling, Jalen Royals. Currently, he sits as a early to mid third on ADP Daddy and Keep Trade Cut. Really, what I see here is just someone that has that elite level speed, playmaking ability. He was pretty incredible all year. He did get injured, but still put up 800 yards in 7 games and 6 touchdowns. He was someone that I was pretty high on even before the combine. His success rates, I mean, really solid all across the board. Someone that I feel confident in, especially if he lands in a good landing spot. Given the lack of high-end talent, I do expect him to have at least the chance to be kind of a wide receiver 2, kind of Jayden Reed type, where he can be that explosive playmaker, kind of be utilized in different ways in the offense. That's someone that I'm very high on there. And again, his size, his weight, not amazing, but we've seen that doesn't matter that much unless if you're like, you know, Tez Johnson or something where you weigh less than me. Overall, I'm not too concerned about his height and weight, and his speed grade was incredible. So he's someone that I do think at a third round cost is someone I feel confident in betting on. 3 years at Utah State, 1,000 yards in 2023. Obviously, he would have broken 1,000 yards this year, but fell short because of injuries. Easily a solid flyer in the third round, someone that I'm looking at. Next up, we have our second running back that gets me all excited. It is RJ Harvey. Currently, RJ Harvey from Central Florida is a mid to late third on ADP Daddy and Keep Trade Cut, so a little bit higher rated than Tuten. He played 3 seasons at UCF, multiple 1,000-yard seasons, and he had 22 rushing touchdowns last year, which is incredible.
Yeah, my mentality is score every play. Every time I touch the ball, I'm trying to score.
So obviously, he has the production to back him up. If you look at his combine too, he was incredible. If Tuten didn't take all the shine, you know, still an amazing 4.4 40-yard dash, elite speed grade, elite explosion grade. That's what you want to see from a running back. The one concern is his size, but we've seen that, and I think you'll see this with players in this type of range. If you're putting up elite speed grades, elite explosive grades, and you have elite size, I mean, you're going to go at the top of the draft. So we're not going to see, you know, the most well-rounded players down here, but we're going to see players that can fit a role in an offense, and that's kind of what RJ Harvey can do at the next level. I see him as kind of a Keaton Mitchell, A-Chain type, Eckler maybe, change of pace guy that can catch passes, dominate downfield. I would say he's a little bit more well-rounded than a Tuten. That's probably why he's rated a little higher, but still, not to get all into theory, but this is why whenever I do roster reviews or anything like that, if you have to lock in starters in a lineup league. All these thirds and fourths, I want to be taking these types of running backs, because you're going to hit on weeks where they're getting 20 touches a game. And if RJ Harvey's getting touches in an NFL game, I'm going to bet that he's worth at least starting. You stash him on a taxi squad, ride the hype. I do think he's someone that has the skills to actually see some touches at the next level. Next up, Iowa State wide receiver Jayden Higgins. Jayden Higgins currently is a mid-third to early fourth on Keep Trade Cut and ADP Daddy. So there's a bit of discrepancy there. But honestly, what I saw from him, both on tape and at the combine, sets him apart. I think he's someone that could really be valuable at the next level. He started off at Eastern Kentucky and was solid there, 10 touchdowns, 700 yards. Then he transferred to Iowa State for 2 years and put up near 1,000-yard season in 2023, and then eclipsed 1,000 yards there in 2024. With 6 and 9 touchdowns both of those years. Great success rates down the field, which is what you want to see from a big body wide receiver like him. And then at the combine, I mean, I did say Tuten won the combine just because he had the 40-yard dash, but from a fantasy football perspective, no one had a top to bottom better combine than Jayden Higgins, I think. Incredible size grades, incredible explosiveness, and good speed. That's really what you want to see. I mean, a 4.47 from a guy that has elite size and elite explosive is incredible. Someone that can certainly be used. And I've seen him go in some mock drafts, NFL mock drafts, not fantasy mock drafts, but NFL mock drafts go kind of at an early second round pick. So I do think he's going to be a big riser. Obviously the top of the class is kind of set. That second tier of wide receivers is kind of big and not really, settled in. Players like Trey Harris, Isaiah Bond have kind of fallen a little bit. Jayden Higgins might gain some steam at the NFL level. I don't talk to anyone in the NFL, but some of the mocks I've seen, I could totally see him rising. And if he gets early second round draft capital, he's definitely going to be a second round pick. So he might not be qualify as a sleeper, but I do think he's someone that has some solid upside. Comp wise, I mean, I think the easy one would be like Drake London, but I do think kind of an Alan Lazard, Drake London type player, big body wide receiver, can get separation and kind of push the ball down the field. Big winner overall, and one of the biggest risers from the wide receiver position. Next up is our boy Harold Fannin, which actually might be one of the bigger losers of the combine, because Harold Fannin came in 3 years at Bowling Green, not incredible, competition, but put up 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. Everyone was like, whoa, these stats are crazy. And tight end's kind of hard to project, right? He had good success rates. Obviously, the competition is not as high for tight end positions, especially. A lot of people put weight into, are they athletic freaks as a tight end? It's kind of hard to project tight end production from the college to NFL level, especially when he didn't play the high level competition at Bowling Green. He's someone that definitely is falling. I expect him probably to fall a little bit more. Right now he's kind of an early third on ADP Daddy and Keep Trade Cut. Expect him to kind of end up in the mid to late third, but I do think personally, if I can pick up a guy that potentially was seen as probably the tight end 3 in the class at that late range, especially in like a tight end premium type league, I'm definitely going to soak it up just because he went out and had just an average combine. That's an amazing value in my opinion. In a way, a bad combine made this dude more of a sleeper. I do think in some leagues, there's going to be people that are going to reach on him still. And that's where I'm going to say, don't reach on him. But if I'm getting him at a third round value, I still think I'm taking a shot on a tight end that had crazy production last year. If he finds the right situation and right landing spot, that's going to make all the difference. That kind of wraps up all the players I really wanted to talk about. There's some others out there. There's multiple J-name wide receivers that produced really well. And as a fellow J-name, gotta represent. It's an important metric. There's a lot of players late in the rounds that are going to get a little bit of steam. But one thing I did want to talk about and show is a draft from last year. Obviously, this draft class was different than this year's. There's a lot of running backs in this year's class. Last year didn't have as many valuable running backs. But one thing I did want to show is the odds that you're going to hit in the late rounds. So if we look here, here's a completed draft. Bucky Irving at the 311, Tyrone Tracy at the 508. Outside of that, none of these guys are super exciting prospects, I would say, for the value that they took them at, right? Sure. 301, Jatavion Sanders is not a terrible deal. There's still other running backs like Braylon Allen, Ray Davis. But in general, people getting extra value from their picks aren't going to be in the third, fourth, and fifth. And if it is, it's probably going to be at the running back position. And that's why I say in this class, it's especially deep at running back. Those late picks, I'm really only going to focus on running back unless if I have a tight end premium that makes tight ends impactful, right? If I can flex a tight end, then maybe I take a tight end because I can get 2 PPR. But in general, running backs are the only ones that really hit this range. And that's why you see the Bucky Irving, Tyrone Tracy type players. I'm sure we're going to have someone like that in the upcoming draft. But you also see there's a bunch of guys people hyped up and just didn't hit. Isaiah Davis, people liked, but landed at a bad spot. Marshawn Lloyd, people liked, hasn't done anything. There's still a risk here. So the one thing I do want to leave you with is, as the combine goes, people get hype. People will buy into the hype. You'll see all these videos. You'll see a video like mine. The reality is combine metrics don't matter a ton. The most important metric is going to be the NFL draft, when we actually get draft capital. And even then, if you're betting on 3rd, 4th, or 5th round picks hitting and making an impact, you need to start looking at something else, because the idea that you're going to hit on the next bucket rings really hard. And then 2, if you can take that pick and buy someone that you know is going to give you guaranteed production, especially pre-draft, as people start buying into, drinking the Kool-Aid and talking about Higgins and freaking Tuten and all these players I've talked about. If people really want to go out and buy your 3rd round picks and you can pick up future picks or pick up production now, I would certainly be exploring those options as well. Don't be locked in to say, I have to, take my 3rd round pick on whoever is this year's Luka McCaffrey. Finding ways to navigate the market and playing it smart is the way to go. Anyway, if you liked the video, you like what you saw, definitely subscribe, support the channel. We're going to have some more stuff coming out soon. Definitely stay plugged in, and I'll see y'all in the next video.